What up, this is Patrick Hayes, welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video I want to talk about 3 things that are absolutely crucial for us to be paying attention to during this pandemic. Now there's a lot more than 3 things, obviously, that are of importance going on right now. And one of the things that I'm doing is I am holding off on making any claims that I know exactly what's happening regarding a lot of the different narratives or the different events going on right now. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to sit with this for a good amount of time till I really feel very secure and sure about what I share with you. Because I think that one of the issues going on, and this is the first thing to pay attention to, one of the issues going on is there's a lot of people that are just spouting out narratives as quickly as they see them. So I think it's really important for us to be aware that the reason why a lot of people are sharing different narratives with such conviction is because they are trying to reinforce a story that they've maybe already been telling themselves, or they want to reinforce some sort of security. I mentioned this before in another video, but it's really important for us to pay attention to this because what's happening right now is this is creating polarity conflicts amongst the consciousness, amongst different groups of the consciousness, collective consciousness. And this is polarizing humanity while in panic, which is a dangerous thing if you think about it, because we're already polarized. People that hate Donald Trump, people that love Donald Trump, and they're at each other's throats. Right? There's all these different camps, Democrats, Republicans, right? Everyone's polarized, and everyone's kind of bickering and arguing over things that they find important. Well, now we find ourselves in this crazy pandemic situation where people are panicking and they're freaking out, and they think their life, and they might be, is literally at risk right now. And so the amperage that has kicked up on top of the polarities that were already existing, and then the new polarities that are being put in place based off of contradictory or opposing narratives that are being expressed, are they're points of contention that are very, very delicate, and they're very volatile right now. So if we're not careful, then we can have a result that is absolutely tremendously destructive, where basically the whole society starts eating at itself and fighting itself because people say, this is what's happening. No, this is what's happening. We got to do this because this is what's happening. No, we can't do that because this is what's happening. And people go at each other's necks. So one of the things to pay attention to is polarities, right? Not getting stuck in a polarity and doing your best to remain as neutral as possible so that you can understand all the different narratives and you can understand the emotional and mental kind of framework of the people that are speaking from these different narratives. And the reason why this is really valuable is because then you have the capacity to kind of be a mediator in a sense and speak to people in their own language without causing more disruption and perpetuating chaos and causing 2 different polarities to collide in a dangerous and destructive way. Because right now is actually a time we need to be coming together. We can't be bickering over things that we're not even actually sure about. So that's number 1. That's the first thing to pay attention to. The second thing to pay attention to are the people and the organizations that are exploiting this situation for their own personal gains. Also, the exploitations of people's fear for dark agendas. And I don't necessarily mean human agendas. I mean just like looshing, like negative energy vampires. So one of the things that's happening right now, and you can feel this in a lot of the narratives that you see being perpetuated. You can tune in and you can feel what is the underlying energy here. What is the intention of the person or the organization that is perpetuating this particular story? And you can feel into if there is an intention to make you afraid, to get you scared. In other words, using facts, and there's no optimistic side to it. It's just like trying to lay these facts down in a way, whether they're actual facts or not, lay facts down in a way that concludes something that is hopeless, or something that is just extremely scary and there's no solutions involved. If that's the kind of angle that something's being presented from, then you can be sure that it's somewhat compromised at least. And that doesn't mean that some of the facts that are being expressed aren't true. But if you can feel that there's no side of assistance, there's no amount of assistance, there's no optimism, there's no solution, and it's just basically shit news that's being thrown at you, that you can, even when you tune into it, oftentimes too, you can feel like if there's a person that's trying to tell you, some conspiratorial thing, and not that all conspiracies are false, but you can tell when somebody is basically just trying to get you to get afraid too, to like take it seriously and get afraid. And oftentimes, in my opinion, what's going on here is that there are other beings in other realms that are feeding off of this energy. And so something to be aware of during this process is, what is the underlying frequency going on there? Is it a frequency? Is it fear mongering? Or is it somebody that's pointing out like a crucial fact that is trying to, seek advice, or that's trying to offer a positive solution, or that's trying to brainstorm of what they can do, right? And these are different frequency bandwidths. So it's our job to be able, with our sense-making skills, to be able to tune into what is the underlying vibe. Because there are some people that are sharing the same facts, but they're wrapping a different story around it, and they're presenting it with a different vibration. So now is time for us to tune into the vibration. It's like, read in between the lines of the information, feel into the vibration behind it, right? Feel into the silence in between the words, instead of the actual words that are being expressed. And there's a lot of information there that indicates where this is coming from and how much credence you should give to that expression of the story. And the third thing that I think is really, really important to pay attention to right now is this idea of social distancing. And while to play it on the safe side, I think it's a good thing to uphold, to not spend too much time close with people. But I think it's absolutely an imperative that we still remain in contact with people, especially with our loved ones, that we still spend time, quality time, sharing our experiences and expressing the love that we have for the loved ones in our lives, calling our family members, calling our friends, staying in contact with them, checking up on them. I think this is absolutely important. Because I think one of the worst things that could happen right now is that this social distancing sets into play, and that everybody kind of hides out in their house and just like watches movies. I was watching, I looked on Netflix the other day, last night actually, and the 10th movie in America right now is Outbreak. And I mean, I guess it's in theme with what's going on right now, but is that really like, is that something that's going to help us chill out and think more rationally? I would argue probably not. Maybe there's some value in it. I'm not going to knock it totally. But what I'm saying is that I could see a lot of people kind of spiraling into binge watching Netflix or binge scrolling and just spinning up in anxiety and not really connecting to like people, but actually just like reading headlines and different articles that honestly we can't really always trust the sources of these things. Again, we have to remember that a lot of these places that are publishing articles and information are just looking for clicks also, right? So they're getting information out. This is an opportunity for them to cover the story that's going on right now. So they want the craziest, most sensationalized story to tell, because that will get the most clicks, that'll get the most attention. And remember, even though there's a pandemic going on, that system in media is still running. So we have to be aware of that. And so one of the things that I think is really important is for us to get in contact with people. Now, I think we should respect, in case the virus, is really dangerous, we should respect maybe not getting too close to people and not interacting in large groups. And I think that's all good. So we can respect that. But we should not cut people off and stop communicating with people. I think it's really important that we remain a communicating network at this time. And in fact, this is the time for us to expand the network and to communicate with more people so that we can actually get more firsthand accounts, feel into where people are really at, and do our best to create a a coherency of groundedness and optimism that is available to take advantage of any opportunities that present themselves in order to create more positive effects and outcomes in this situation. So those are the three things. And again, as I get more clarity on my opinions as far as what I think is actually going on, I will be more vocal about that. But as of now, I'm just going to kind of sit back and observe more until I feel like things have become self-evident to me. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. And if this video is useful, please share it with somebody else that you think it might be useful for also. And I will talk to you next time. Stay chill, stay relaxed, stay centered. And I'm sending you much love. Talk to you next time.